I recently looked at 4 of the biggest realism add-ons in the Minecraft Bedrock marketplace to see how they worked with vibrant visuals. And from the 4 that we looked at, one of them seemed to work perfectly and was compatible and functional with vibrant visuals, and only one other one was close to being called unbroken. So in today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at the only non-vibrant visual compatible pack from the 4 that I looked at that didn't seem too heavily broken, with that being the Realistic Biomes Add On. I'll be pairing it with the Prizma Visuals texture pack, Luminous Dreams texture pack, and Dark Fantasy Visuals texture pack to see what realism and a vibrant visual texture pack actually look like. We're going to take a look at daytime, nighttime, underwater, and rainfall, as well as going into the nether and the end in each combination. So let's get started. So to start off today's triple showcase video, we're going to be pairing Realistic Biomes with my favorite vibrant visual texture pack, Prizma. Now, if you've been following along this little series that we've been doing, you know that Prizma brings in height maps. It's a vibrant visual texture pack. It's my favorite texture pack currently in the vibrant visual world, and it's quite pink. So we're going to see how it reacts with Realistic Biomes, which when we tested that previously wasn't perfect, but was closest to being working. Now, in terms of the setup, I have the texture pack in slot 2 and I have Realistic Biomes Add On in slot 1. So hopefully that gives us the best experience, and also all of the settings are turned on in Realistic Biomes, and anywhere I can I've chosen HD as the settings and immersive as the settings. And what we're seeing straight away, we have ground fog. We definitely have a fog. We had this in our showcase when I looked at it with the vanilla vibrant visuals. It was a very dense, kind of almost on top of you fog, and that's very apparent through the trees. We do have what looks like forced god rays coming through the leaves on here as well, along with lens flares as well. Interesting to see if that matches up with where the sun is. It's quite in your face with that kind of stuff. And then obviously we have the standard vibrant visuals. Now I am getting a bit of lag. There is a little bit of choppiness to what we're dealing with here, so we're going to see how it goes. But you can see the stronger fog through the trees. Looking through here, I've got zombies ready to die here as well, and just as we're coming through, it's a very misty feel. Look, we've got fireflies, we've got falling leaf litter that we would normally have in vanilla as well, but I want to get to like an open clearing and see what we're dealing with here. So even up high we've got a lot of fog. I believe that's because of the immersive settings that we have on. It's the recommended settings as well, so I don't really want to change that right now. But there is a thing flying up high. You can almost see, look, we've got the shade or shadow over there moving with us as we go in our render distance. We also have biome titles turned on, but we're going to want to look at this, I think, to get the best feeling, because we know it's not perfect. We want to feel how it is on ground level. So while the game tells us we're on a beach, we do have the Realistic Biomes clouds. I don't have Minecraft clouds turned on, but I have to say it's struggling. It is very, very choppy. Not necessarily laggy, but it's not necessarily clean either in terms of movement. There's a lot going on here, a lot of light effects happening here as well. And just looking around, it's very foggy. Like there was a lighting glitch there as well, but you kind of have to come to terms with the immersiveness of the fog. I mean, we can change that. We can see how that plays. So if we go to, I have to find the right setting. I think it's effects actually. We go to fog rendering mode. We can go to immersive extended, for instance, and save that. Let's see how that looks, if that pushes it back a bit. It does, but we get that same issue that we was having in vanilla vibrant visuals, where you start to see the corners of your box. It's weird how Minecraft works. There's like a very much a toy box aspect to it, a sandbox aspect to it as well, really, which gets pulled in as you start to push those immersive fogs back. So it's weird how it works. If I put render distance on, maybe we can see how that looks as well. We can find a perfect one here. We can see how it works. No, render distance as well very much seems to show it off, like how the light is hitting. So you can see it's not really functional with Vibrant Visuals. That's not a failing of the texture pack. That's not really a failing of the add-on either, if we're being completely fair. It's just not made for Vibrant Visuals at the moment. But as you see, if we bring in that immersiveness, it steps the fog forward closer to us, and then we can't see the folds in the world. So we are having to kind of go for this misty feel. Quite good for a horror playthrough, and it seems to overwrite quite a bit of that pinky feel as well in the world. Whether or not that's a good trade-off, that's going to have to be for you guys to tell me, I'm afraid. But the world feels quite dark. We've got that realistic sun there as well, or HD sun, sorry, from Realistic Biomes. So that's always good to know. And it's a bit disappointing because flying over like this, I can't really show you what we're dealing with here because of the amount of fog. But if I just like rush over here, I want to get away from some of the trees. Like, I want trees, but not as many. So let's get down here and see what kind of visual effects we're dealing with here. Now, we're not really getting much in terms of like things in the sky, you know, like wildlife. There's no real butterflies, there's no birds or anything like that that seems to be flying around. There is little dribs and drabs of dots around, flying around, but it's a very difficult to control type feel. Very laggy. I really don't want to understate the lag. We've got like lighting glitches off in the distance there as well. It's not the most comfortable. Maybe Prizma, the way Prizma's working, is adding to that lag. Maybe it's all Realistic Biomes not really working with it. It's a strong one, to be fair. I don't know if the trade-off is really there, to be honest. Obviously, like I said, you can turn down your render distance, you can turn down settings. Maybe you just want the fog to cut down some of the pinkiness of the world. Doesn't bother me, in fact, but it might bother you. So that's kind of that one. If we was to set it to nighttime, just have a look at what we're doing. Let's go to midnight, full on night. See that lag there from switching as well. The world tries to work out what it's doing. It's very dark. I really just want to show you how dark that is in its fill. You get the clouds though. The clouds was a nice fill until we got like a flashing pixel light, but I am getting heavy lag. Heavy lag. So for those of you who ask me, does Realistic Biomes work with Prizma Visuals? I can honestly answer, is it compatible? Yes. Is it functional? Not really, and you probably can't use full features to make it work the best either. I don't really, like, other than the clouds and maybe that realistic sun and moon. I mean, I don't even see a moon at this point. A realistic sun, at least, I guess. Maybe that's the moon up there. I don't know. I'm not really seeing much in terms of realism that works with it. I just had a few issues there with my recording software, but that is a very, very strong fog here. And it's such a strong fog. If you move forward into here, the way that portal just gets revealed, it's mad. You'd never know. Like right there, you'd never know there was a portal there. That's how immersive this is. That's how dark this feels right here. It's crazy, but there are some really nice elements to this. I just don't know if the overall sum and the amount of lag and the glitchiness that's occurring, I don't know if it's worth the hassle dealing with it, with what's quite nice. If we go back into daytime, we let that bright light flash in with us as well. Let's head over here and let's see what we're dealing with in terms of underwater. You can see as well, we've got a lens flare. I can't quite tell where that's originating from. Seems to be while I'm looking in this direction. See some lighting. I don't think it lines up perfectly with the sun. Got the HD sun there as well. Let's get underwater. See what we're dealing with here. We'll let everything catch us up. We can still see the wind effects underwater, which is very annoying. That's not good. I think that's even in fancy as well, which isn't great. You do have these little particles underwater as well, almost like dust particles. They're quite nice, and because they're white, they give off the impression that they're lighting up under here. But honestly, the clouds almost feel like they're underwater as well. It's not the strongest thing in the world, as we've got a drowned over here on a zombie Nautilus with a Prizma Trident. Now, I see a lot of people commenting on Prizma Tridents. They don't like the pink. Myself, I'm thinking just open your mind. It's only a color. But there is also a sub pack that you can remove the pink from the Trident, from the shield. So just because you don't like them, you're not forced to use them. There are other sub packs available. There are 3 different ones, in fact. So you can turn those off. But anywho, that's a different story. Let's get out of the water here. And let's just see then, if we go back onto land, it's heavy fog, man. Are you definitely seeing that it's not working perfectly with Vibrant Visuals, let alone the Vibrant Visual texture pack? We go into the weather and we try rain here. See how rain looks. Oh, I remember actually, I don't actually think you can set rain via that. Unfortunately, you have to do it through the settings. So if we go into preview mode, I want rain. Here we go. Boom. We're going to turn on the rain. Okay, I wasn't sure if we were going to get anything happening with the fog or darkness. Again, you can definitely feel the lag. You can see the lag in the distance. You can see the lag when you're moving. Nice rainfall sounds. Definitely nice rainfall sounds. The rain isn't the worst. I think the rain in Realistic Biomes is probably better than Realism VFX in certain texture packs. It's not perfect though, in all honesty. So yeah, I'm not, this isn't it for me, Chief, I'm afraid. If we come out of this, we're going to head into, in fact, I need to get out of the settings as well, don't I? Go from there. Thank you. It is hella laggy right now. Let's go into the Nether. See what we're dealing with in the Nether. A Prizma Realistic Biomes Nether. Okay, so I like this. Normally, like, I like the heat rays. I feel like it gives off the impression of like really hot hellfire feelings. I know this can feel quite overbearing for some people, but I necessarily like this, or I don't necessarily dislike this, to be fair. It is very strong and in your face. It does feel very forced. It does feel very fabricated and artificial. It's definitely not using your Vibrant Visuals, definitely just being manufactured by the add-on. But I think it does well to create the heat, even in areas with dust particles, and it's good to see the biome titles working as well. Get down here. See, do we have anything going on with the lava? Not so much, in all honesty. A lot of dust. We head into this direction, maybe we just get a little bit of a fly around the Nether. See what we're dealing with. Like, that orange and the heat here, it's that hell feeling that you have in the Nether. Not to make it too much of like religious imagery or anything. And in the Soul Sand Valley, you get the blue biome colors down here. You get the smoke and the fog coming up here. So there's some really good elements in here. Not particularly executed 100%. Not going to sit here and tell you it's the best thing ever. But I think there are some good elements that need to be polished and could really work well. Like, that feels very strong. For me, that feels very strong. Let me know what you think down in the comments. But the roughness is definitely there. You can see it's not perfect. It's not working perfect. The Prizma darkness takes a little while to catch us up again. And then you see here as well, those God rays occur. They're not necessarily hot God rays in every biome, but they are around. I really like the blue myself, to be honest. And then if we go into the end as well, just to round this up, how does the end look in Prizma with Realistic Biomes? We've got that bluer end. So again, kind of taking away the pinkness of the pack. We've got the darkness, we've got the blue end dust flying around here, giving it that magical feel. The end stone still keeps a pink, as does these lighting effects as well. But it's definitely undertoned. That pinkness is definitely reduced down. Would say, yeah, look, we've got that end fog here too. It's the beginning of something here. I would be very interested to see Realistic Biomes get updated for Vibrant Visuals. I know Prizma is definitely a stress test. There's a lot going on in Prizma, so we may see something different in the next packs, but in all honesty, this combination, it's not for me. It's a bit too rough in places. But let me know what you guys think. Let's go into pack number 2. And so for pack number 2, we're pairing Realistic Biomes with Luminous Dreams by Poggy. Now, same rules apply. Texture pack in slot 2, add-on in slot 1, everything turned on and set to HD where possible and immersive everywhere else. So looking around, what do we have? Now, Luminous Dreams is a very vanilla-esque texture pack. Doesn't use height maps, uses normal maps, to give off that implied height map feeling. And the fog, I mean, we've got lighting glitches still. That's been happening all the way through so far. That ground fog, again, feels very, very strong. The fog is very, very much on top of us as well in our render distance. So that kind of feels even more so than what we were dealing with in Prizma. Lighting just doesn't seem to work well with these vibrant visual texture packs on Realistic Biomes. So I'm trying to get us to an open area here just to have a proper look at how this goes. This will do. Somewhere down here. See, it's almost like a 3D fog that kicks in way too early. We just have a little look around. What are we dealing with here? There's kind of a bluey purple hue to the world. The clouds, they're looking quite nice. The HD sun is quite nice, but that lag is still here. And I would say that initial load as well, when we loaded into the world, was so laggy I thought it was going to crash. So yeah, I don't think Realistic Biomes can be paired with a vibrant visual texture pack, at least not in full settings. You may have to fix it and test it and see what works for you, but honestly, if I can't use it all, I don't want it, in fairness. So just looking around here, we've got that fog down there. I'm trying to see as well, do we get any sort of lighting effect, or do the clouds and the fog seem to mess with any of that? Like, I'm not really seeing any form of light rays coming through the trees. I mean, this isn't a perfect test, but it feels like something out of a horror movie, which might have its place if you can get it to work. But I don't see, I mean, okay, we've got a lens flare that seems to be working correctly in terms of looking at the sun. We've got forced god rays. They're not coming from the sun, they're coming from somewhere else, and they're very strong. But natural god rays, I can't see many natural lighting effects happening from that sun. It seems like Realistic Biomes has taken it all over, to be honest. There's a lens flare there, like the rings of Saturn. It's not a pleasant experience. I'm not putting it down to Luminous Dreams. I'm not putting it down to Prizma. Realistic Biomes doesn't feel like a pleasant experience. Like, look at that. That fog is just too much. But if we push it back, we see the world borders, and we don't want that either. So I don't know. That can have a place, but is it beautiful? I don't think so. It's intriguing, maybe, mysterious, maybe, but I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it's even that good. It's set to nighttime. I don't really want to spend too much time ragging on it. Like, I like all of the packs that are involved. I just don't think they work together. Looking at it at night, it feels a lot stronger. That fog definitely gets pushed back, becomes less apparent. You see what you're dealing with a lot easier at night. We get a lot more visual effects at night as well. The fog hits nicer. It looks more comfortable and easier to navigate. We've got the fireflies on the river. Looking nice. Realistic Biomes is a nighttime pack. Is that a good thing? Probably not, but it's a nighttime pack. The fog works at night, which just tells me that the way Vibrant Visuals is using lighting is what's causing the issues with Realistic Biomes. Because once you add darkness, once you make darkness the key to the texture pack, or the key to the world, sorry, then the pack becomes a lot more manageable. It's a lot more smoother, and it's just a better experience all around. So do with that what you will. Maybe you want to play a night only world. I don't know, that could be a cool little world though. Imagine that, just night only. We've heard of always day. What about always night? Survive 100 days in that. Anywho, let's carry on. Render distance is definitely minimized. If you like your render distance, you're not going to like this at all. But I think, yeah, it looks better at night than it does during the day. Pop it back into daytime as well. That's unbearable. That's practic. That is unbearable. It's the way it's working with the light, unfortunately. This is what happens when you're using non-vibrant visual compatible packs. This is why we need packs to be updated. I hope, is it Orville Studios that does Realistic Biomes? I hope they go and update it. Something to partner with Actions and stuff would be great, but doesn't seem to be on their to-do list at the moment. Actions and stuff is such a big pack for them. Maybe they just might build it into Actions and stuff or something. I don't know, but looking at it underwater here, no real water effects. We've still got that very strong cloud. We've got that wind underwater. Realistic Biomes just isn't it. Not it with Vibrant Visuals, I'm sorry. Very sorry. And then if we go into here, let's see what we get in preview mode with the rain. It's the same. So because the rain is built into Realistic Biomes, we have to trigger it by going into the preview mode and testing it that way. I think it's going to look the same in every pack. That is unbearable light though. That is absolutely unplayable. I'm calling this unplayable. If it rains in your world, you're done. You're literally done. The lag is mad. The lighting is mad. The brightness is mad. For those of you who ask me all the time, does Realistic Biomes work with Luminous Dreams? You compare it, but it's not functional. Let's be completely honest here. Let's head into the Nether now. We're flying through this, I think. There's only so much I can show you in this stuff. Let's go around here and see what we're dealing with in here. So, feels quite dark. Feels like quite a dark world. I'm trying to wait for those lighting effects to kick in. I think they're there. I just think they're a bit more natural, actually. Almost like what we saw when we looked at Realism VFX. After we paired it with Prizma and we paired it with the other stuff, it feels slightly more natural. It's starting to get a little bit more unnatural as we go forward. Maybe I'm waffling. The orange is doing a lot to cover those God rays, that heat. That orange, I think, is a Luminous Dreams biome color. Does a lot to cover things. And then as we're popping through here, we're going to go into the basalt deltas. We get the white, yellow. It's like a color overload, but it's not handling the light at all. Oh, this is like almost the complete flip of Prizma, where Prizma is dark. This is too bright. But that brightness is kind of helping hide some of these rays. So again, it's like good ideas just not being able to be executed correctly here. But hopefully that's answering your questions. That's what we're here for at the end of the day. Answer your questions and hopefully get some communication, get some discussion going. In the end here, whoa. All right, so it doesn't like something here. Something has, that was an end flash. So the end flash was unbearable there. The end dust is nice. That's really cool. The fog is nice. That's really cool. Gives off a nice purpley pink. That's too much. And again, that has to be Realistic Biomes with its fog effects, not knowing how to handle the light. That would be my assumption on that one. So, yeah. Whereas I said Prizma wasn't it, I'm afraid in this case, neither is Luminous Dreams. But now you've seen Prizma, now you've seen Luminous Dreams. Let me know which one is your favorite so far. Let me know what you're thinking here. And we're going to go and look at the third and final pack. And the final pack being featured here with Realistic Biomes is, of course, Dark Fantasy Visuals. Now, I've been through what Dark Fantasy Visual offers so many times. So in a nutshell, it's a darker lighting effect. It changes the mood of Vibrant Visuals while keeping textures 100% vanilla currently. There are apparently plans, or there were plans, to add custom textures to this pack, but currently it's just a lighting mood effect and how lighting works in Vibrant Visuals. Same rules apply. Texture pack in slot number 2, add-on in slot number 1. Everything turned on, and we have HD and immersive. So let's just have a look around, and again, it looks very similar, if not somewhat darker. We're getting these forced God rays in here. We also get those forced lens flares. Very dark sky up above, but we'll get to that in a second. And this seems to really add to what I said about Realistic Biomes. Looking like it would work well in a horror world. With that mist and that fog, the darkness also seems to be adding to that here. That zombie seemed to agree with me as well, so that's cool. The little fireflies seem to be appearing with the Realistic Biomes, and that very heavy, very strong fog effect in here. Let's get up here and have a look. Also to note as well, I didn't say this in my last video, but Dark Fantasy Visuals, I believe, also has a setting that allows you to switch between smooth shadows and pixelized shadows as well. So there is a sub pack in there for you to choose from too, but it's all vanilla textures currently. So having a look, it's the same issues that we've seen the whole way through. The fog is really strong. We've got biome colors that seem to take effect. In here, we've got ground fog that seems to take effect, and we've got wind. The big difference is what you always get with Dark Fantasy Visuals, that darker, overcast sky, making the clouds feel quite strong. So, you know, if you want it to be darker, if you want that more horror-esque feel, maybe you could get this to work, but being consistent, I still don't think the overall combination is worth the pain you kind of have to go through. Now, the lag doesn't feel as strong so far, I will say. That's one thing to just keep of note. But again, like, it's just too overpowering with that fog, and the trade-off with the boxes is just a problem for me, I'm afraid. Let me know what you guys think, though. That's always key. Also, it seems to already be nighttime, which is kind of crazy. So we'll just have a look at that then, as you get like twilight coming in here with the yellow hitting as I guess the sun is setting, maybe? It's not handling light well still. So there's no change. It doesn't seem to care about the texture pack when it comes to how it's handling the light. Realistic Biomes doesn't quite know how to do it. In fact, is it even nighttime? No, I guess that biome was just darker. Whatever biome we was in over here, we've got the birch forest, beach, birch forest. So the birch forest is just a darker biome in general. Okay, interesting. But yeah, for those of you who ask, not many people ask about this, but I like to just put this one in there for anyone who's planning to ask, does Realistic Biomes work with Dark Fantasy Visuals? I'll let you guys decide. You tell me the answer on this one, I'm afraid. Let's set it to nighttime. I have to say, whenever something is looking broken, I always kind of worry about taking too long. There's fireworks off in the distance there, though. There you go. We've got some firework effects hitting. That must be a random nighttime effect that occurs with Realistic Biomes. We never saw that one before. You can see a very strong box outline here as well. So, nice little trigger effect going on there, just from setting it to nighttime. But something about Dark Fantasy Visuals pushes that fog all the way back. Just double check here as well. In terms of effects, we are still on immersive recommended, so I haven't changed anything there. So that is a change that has occurred with Realistic Biomes. The nice fireworks effect though, I like that. That was kind of cool. A little bit of a random effect, but look how dark that is. Again, Realistic Biomes being a nighttime pack. What kind of shock is that? We've got the spider with the light up eyes. Can't even see the zombie here. Okay. And then again, that horror-esque feel. Grab yourself a Cave Dwellers add-on with this if Cave Dwellers ever gets fixed. And you could be dealing with some very eerie, very scary atmospheric feels here. But again, it's not for me. It's really not. Nice little firefly effects coming on here too. Let's go back into daytime. Get that light flash, which always blinds me. If we get underwater, let's see how we're doing. So the water in previous showcases with Dark Fantasy Visuals has felt quite green. Maybe that's a biome effect because we're not having it so much here. Got that water dust from Realistic Biomes, giving off that lighting effect. But I just can't get past the clouds. I just can't get past the wind here, unfortunately. It's alright. I don't want to say it's functional, but it's doing a job, I guess. But again, is it worth the roughness of that? I'll let you guys tell me. If we go down into here, preview mode, I'm not expecting any differences with the rain because this is built into Realistic Biomes. Yeah, no difference, and it doesn't even seem to affect the overcast feeling. Ay, ay, ay. It's a gum dryer because I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know, I don't know, it's not great. So at least now I can say to most people, no, it's not functional, I'm afraid. Let's get ourselves into the Nether. Oh yeah, my game crashed. My game crashed after Luminous Dreams, so I lost all my shortcodes there. Let's go to set block, that one there, and portal. Into the Nether. Hey, there we go. Alright, so it feels a bit more like Prizma did. The darker Nether, the God Rays coming into here. Although they feel a little bit more toned down again. Not bright, they don't have that orange biome color to hide it for you. But the darkness seems to help bring them in a little bit, maybe make them feel a little bit more natural again. The darkness is definitely doing bits in here for me though. I really like the darkness here. I feel like whenever I look at dark fantasy visuals, I'm saying the same things. Doesn't matter what I'm pairing it with, the darkness just works so well, in my opinion. We'll go for a basalt delta here as well, just have a look. Oh, that red dust. Carry on around here. That ghast is lit up red for some reason. Look around here too. Again, it's good ideas, just not implemented. I hope Realistic Biomes gets updated, but I just got this feeling it won't. I don't know why, but I hope it does. Let's go into the end really quickly then. Oh, yep, that dark end definitely taking over here. Can't see a thing. A staple for dark fantasy visuals here. I don't even know if that's a sign that a flash has occurred. See the fog. This one here, the darkness is hiding a lot. The ambience, the aura of the end is definitely here. But you've really got to come to terms with the fact that you can't see a thing. I also don't seem to be getting any end flashes here. I'd like to show that off just once. But I don't think it's going to let me. Oh, it did occur, but something has happened to the end void and it's just really dark, so I'm not going to be able to show you. So how am I looking here? I'm not going to do a closeout there. Let's get into the overworld. But guys, that is us having a look at Realistic Biomes with Prizma, with Luminous Dreams, and with dark fantasy visuals. My overall assessment would be that it doesn't work, unfortunately. And while you can probably hide certain things with Realistic Biomes in vanilla vibrant visuals, and you can probably get rid of the fog and the immersion, there's a lot of lag. You're very much taking away parts that you want to use but can't. I think if it ever gets updated to vibrant visuals, and if it ever, you know, becomes functional with vibrant visuals, this could be a very strong pack and could give Realism VFX a bit of a run for its money. But right now it's just good ideas not being implemented correctly with vibrant visuals, which is absolutely fine because it's not advertised as a vibrant visual add-on. So it's just kind of an ethical thing of, can we just get it updated? But it doesn't say that it will work. So let me know down in the comments, did you have anything in this video that was helpful or showed you that it could potentially work? Do you come out of this with any answers? Hopefully I've answered the question to a lot of people on, does Realistic Biomes work with the 3 heavy hitters in vibrant visual texture packs? Please do leave a like on the video if you enjoyed this, and if you're new to the channel, I'd greatly appreciate if you could hit the subscribe button as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!